Aussie Bonsai Bloke, yeah, going. Well, I'll tell you what, I've been bloody busy. This is the 8th video in 2 days. Probably be the last for today, and then I'll start editing again. I edited a few last night, put some on last night, one this morning. Still got one from yesterday and then 4 to do today, so as you know, I don't edit much, so it won't be that much trouble at all. Anyway, today, if you haven't realised, we're working on me Aussie native Redgum. Got to do a little bit of weeding, but not too bad. Kept this one under control, and I'll also got something to show you. Oh, and just to prove that I haven't been mucking around, this here, me 2 mowers here, still steaming up. Still pretty warm. You can only just sort of touch it. So I just finished doing the mowing video. For you that have watched, anyone that hasn't, I suggest you watch it. It was a bit of fun. Just a bit of fun. Wasn't bonsai related, but it was good fun. So go back and watch it if you want to. If you don't, that's okay. Doesn't matter. Now my new phone that I have now as a camera does not have, I only just realised, I'll see if I can get the mic. Where did I put it, Sammy? Okay, when I'm outside I've been using this sound mic, Rode sound mic with a sock on. But anyway, it has one of those bloody fittings and just a normal ear jack. And my new phone, the Samsung S20, does not have a normal ear jack anymore. So what do? Like you can plug your earphones into the Samsung, but you have to use that C adapter. Can you get a plug that goes from that to a C adapter? Anyway, let me know, because I'm going to have to get one. Maybe there'll be one on eBay or something, I don't know, because I can't use this outside now, and this thing worked bloody awesome in the wind. Just connects to your phone and it works bloody awesome in the wind. You can't hear any wind at all, whereas now you're going to have to hear a bit of wind noise until I sort that out. But anyway, that's alright. See what we can do, sort it out. Alright, now another thing, I feel a bit embarrassed about that beginner video I did, because I pretty much did what I normally would not do to a tree just to make a beginner video, because I know a lot of beginners out there, they don't want to plant it in the ground, leave it for 5 years, grow the branches for 2 years, cut them back short so you got nice big fat branches coming off the trunk, and then divide them and then slowly work it over 10 years. They want a bonsai instantly, so I did a bit of a fraud video. Apologise for any of the main viewers that are offended by it, and I'm offended by it, don't worry. We normally would not do one like that, but I did. That's okay. We'll add one bad video. Alright, so we've got Adrian Eggleton's turntable. For anyone that hasn't seen this one before, this is the smaller one, not the big square one. Double stainless steel turntable from Adrian Eggleton. Once again, you know, I should put the link in the description, but I'm too useless to work that out, or too lazy. But there you go. If you want to get in contact with him, he's on Facebook and got a website page. I believe you can buy him on the website, and he also custom makes it. Like, he made that Aussie Bonsai Bloke sign up here as well. So he custom makes for you as well. There's no set rules as to what you want, as to what you have to have, sorry. Yeah, so anyway, we got this Redgum, Australian native. Now, this one here is my slasher tree. I say that because when I, working in the vineyard, I'll just tell you a bit of a backstory in case you haven't heard it, because I haven't shown this tree for a while, I don't think. But anyway, what happened is I was slashing in the vineyard and I slashed over the top of this Redgum, and I thought, I'll just have a look at it, because I do that. Like if I slash over some sort of a tree in the vineyard, I'll have a bit of a look, have a look at the base. Anyway, the base wasn't too bad, and I thought, and I was only sort of in the learning process. So then I thought, okay, I'll pull it up, and I literally just grabbed the top of it and just ripped it out of the ground. And it came up with almost no roots. So I put it in a pot, and then it grew in that pot for probably 3 to 4 years, and grew quite a bit. And then I cut it back hard and it reshot. And then it started looking pretty cool, so I added all these branches and just did clip and grow, no wiring. Just had no wiring in this tree. And yeah, it's turned into not too bad a tree. Just doing a bit of weeding here, sorry about that. It's turned into not too bad a tree. But to give you an idea, this here, that's fat, that's twice as fat as my thumb now. Can just get my fingers around it. That and all these trunks here were literally like twigs, like this one over here. That there's a dead branch. That's another thing about the river Redgum eucalypt. You get a lot of dead branches everywhere. But I leave them on because it actually adds to the authenticity of these trees, because they do drop branches all the time. Constantly drop branches. And I've tried a few things to keep all the branches. I've cut back the strong ones, leaving the weak, not cutting the weak. You know what? It still drops the weak ones. There's no real rhyme or reason. And even sometimes the strong one will just get weak and die. But then a new one will always seem to take over. It always seems to keep going. So I've decided not to fight it. I leave the dead branches like that on because it looks pretty cool to have all dead branches, because Redgums do have dead branches. There's even a spider walking along here. Might even be a little redback, so I should probably kill it, but anyway. So, anyway, I've learned not to fight it. So what I do is I just trim it back 3 or 4 nodes, unless there's no leaf on there, because if you cut it back to where there's no leaf, it will actually lose that branch, only because it'll say, okay, stuff it, that branch doesn't want to grow, and I'll put it somewhere else. If there's still some leaves on there, there's still a chance it won't drop that branch. So if there's only a couple on the end like here, I'm going to leave that whole thing. But if there's a long extension, like here, you got 5 or 6 nodes, I'll cut it back. I reckon I cut this back probably 3 months ago, and it probably doesn't quite need working on yet, but there are sections that I can, so I thought it would be good to do a video on it. Yeah, and then some of the interior branching that is still alive, like this one here. Okay, the tip of this branch has stopped growing. There's no new shoots at all, but it still looks healthy enough. And on the inside, it's actually shot out 2 shoots here, which are quite long, but on the inside. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to cut those 2 long ones back in case they take over and then get to the outside of the tree. Because if I cut them back, chances are that whole branch is going to die. It's not an integral piece, but then at the rate all these branches die, you might end up with only 3 or 4 branches left if it keeps going like that. But it is quite a natural style now, looking at it. Originally it looked like a bit of a ball down low. It was cut probably like that as a ball. And since then, for the last few years, all I've been doing is cutting back the strong ones to 2 shoots And literally it's changed its whole canopy and sort of outlook over the whole thing by itself. That's what I say. If you cut back a tree each time to only a couple of shoots or one internode, probably one internode on these red gums because they do get big leaves and big internodes if you let them go too long. Definitely do. But if you keep cutting them back like that, they decide where they want to put the growth, and they actually end up with their own individual sort of ramification and outside of the tree, outside the silhouette, which is not completely even, which is a good thing. It's good that it's not 100% even. And also, I'll say another thing too. A lot of people say it's hard to reduce the leaf size on these, and originally it was. When it first came out of the ground and it wanted to grow, it was absolutely crazy big leaves. Like, they were probably that long. And if you compare them to the leaves now, okay, compare them to those leaves now, they used to be out here, at least double, even up to triple that size. They used to almost be as big as my hand, a whole leaf. So they're actually, I'd say at least half the size of the normal tree leaf on a red gum. Now, earlier though, they were actually quite big, and it did take a little while for them to get used to living in a pot and then start reducing. But now that they have, you know, it seems fine. It doesn't seem to chuck out those massive leaves anymore. One thing I will say too is I have to actually put this in a pot of water in the middle of summer because it uses so much water that if you leave these red gums out of a pot of water, unless you've got them in a really, really big pot, what's going to happen is they just dry out. You come home and all the new shoots are all drooped over, quite often burn off. Not always, but quite often. It's just very hard to keep the water up to them. So I found one of the only ways to really do it properly is to put them in a tub of water. So anyway, I hope some of those tips help you with these red gum. Unlike the olive, I cut the red gum back to just one node on each leaf. Unless it's a weak branch, then I'll maybe not cut it at all, probably not cut it at all, or I'll leave 2 or 3 nodes. And the leaf size really does come down. It's actually quite surprising. So we're already getting through this tree. Like I said, there wasn't a lot of work to do with it. I just wanted a bit of a chat about it and work on it basically, because I love working on this tree. Just something different that I don't normally work on. This is the only eucalypt I've got. These leaves are just beautiful. Beautiful. Love the smell. Take a good old rip snorter of the eucalypt. Okay, so still just cutting them back. I have this one in full sun. Try to keep it out in the open away from other trees so that I don't end up with one side of the tree shaded, because I think also the shaded side of the tree does lose a lot more growth and a lot more branching than the side that's in the sun, which is normal in all trees, except I just feel that the red gum is more prone to just dropping a branch straight up, just saying, okay, you're not getting as much energy, as much sun, and turning into energy as the top of the tree or the other side of the tree, so I'm just going to drop you off. See ya. Bye. It doesn't seem to care, you know. So, it's pretty close to being it. Got everything fairly well trimmed back. I do still try to trim back the stronger branches harder than the weaker branches, hoping that it helps, but like I say, there's you know, these things, they just decide to drop in a limb and they drop a limb, which is fine. It actually has created, in my opinion, a much better tree than if everything grew and I tried to decide where I wanted the growth to go. It's actually pretty cool how it's done what it's done and grown out how it's grown out. Pretty cool. Really happy with it. Something different anyway. Something different from the norm. And leaf size does reduce, so just remember that. You can reduce the leaf size on these red gums. So it's actually starting to look, you know, semi like a believable tree in miniature. Not a bonsai. Bonsai's, you know, basically almost like a style of tree, really. This one here is not a bonsai, this one's an actual tree. Or meant, you know, style a bit like a tree. Bit scraggly, just like a tree. And I let it grow like a tree too. Okay, so I'll give it a bit of a spin. That's pretty much it for the video. So that's it for today. I'll just grab my drink here, wherever it is here. Done 8 videos. I'll just move this because it's sort of in the way of the silhouette of the tree. Done 8 videos in 2 days. Thank God for holidays. Able to get out and do some work. Absolutely loving it. Cheers. Alright, I'll give you a spin of the tree. Thanks for watching. Aussie Bonsai Bloke. Please like, share, subscribe. Tell your mates about the channel. Thanks everyone for your support and your views. Really appreciate it. Keep watching. I'll try and comment back to everyone. As you notice, I normally comment to everyone in the comments section. I try to do that. Sometimes I get a bit behind, I know, but eventually I get around to it. So I read all your comments, try to answer back to all of them. So make sure you comment. Cheers. Also, take a look at this mess on the ground. This mess is from the whole, well, 7 videos in the shed. Just pure mess. Haven't cleaned any of it up. Haven't bothered. Because I knew I was doing an epic few days.